Thus, a Han Dynasty minister described the five baits with which he proposed to manage the mounted Xiongnu tribes to China's northwestern frontier, to give them elaborate clothes and carriages in order to corrupt their eyes, to give them fine food in order to corrupt their mouth, to give them music and women in order to corrupt their ears, to provide them with lofty buildings, granaries, and slaves in order to corrupt their stomach. And, as for those who come to surrender, the emperor should show them favor by honoring them with an imperial reception party in which the emperor should personally serve them wine and food so as to corrupt their mind. These are what may be called the five baits. In periods of strength, the diplomacy of the Middle Kingdom was an ideological rationalization for imperial power. During periods of decline, it served to mask weakness and help China manipulate contending forces. In comparison to more recent regional contenders for power, China was a satisfied empire with limited territorial ambition. As a scholar during the Han Dynasty, AD 25 to 220, put it, the emperor does not govern the barbarians. Those who come to him will not be rejected, and those who leave will not be pursued. The objective was a compliant, divided periphery, rather than one directly under Chinese control. The most remarkable expression of China's fundamental pragmatism was its reaction to conquerors. When foreign dynasts prevailed in battle, the Chinese bureaucratic elite would offer their services and appeal to their conquerors on the premise that so vast and unique a land as they had just overrun could be ruled only by use of Chinese methods, Chinese language, and the existing Chinese bureaucracy. With each generation, the conquerors would find themselves increasingly assimilated into the order they had sought to dominate. Eventually, their own home territories, the launching points for their invasions, would come to be regarded as part of China itself. They would find themselves pursuing traditional Chinese national interests, with the project of conquest effectively turned on its head. Chinese realpolitik and Sun Tzu's art of war. The Chinese have been shrewd practitioners of realpolitik and students of a strategic doctrine distinctly different from the strategy and diplomacy that found favor in the West. A turbulent history has taught Chinese leaders that not every problem has a solution, and that too great an emphasis on total mastery over specific events could upset the harmony of the universe. There were too many potential enemies for the empire ever to live in total security. If China's fate was relative security, it also implied relative insecurity, the need to learn the grammar of over a dozen neighboring states with significantly different histories and aspirations. Rarely did Chinese statesmen risk the outcome of a conflict on a single all-or-nothing clash. Elaborate multi-year maneuvers were closer to their style, where the Western tradition prized the decisive clash of forces, emphasizing feats of heroism. The Chinese ideal stressed subtlety, indirection, and the patient accumulation of relative advantage. This contrast is reflected in the respective intellectual games favored by each civilization. China's most enduring game is Weiqi, pronounced roughly Wei Qi, and often known in the West by a variation of its Japanese name, Go. Wei Qi translates as a game of surrounding pieces. It implies a concept of strategic encirclement. The board, a grid of 19 by 19 lines, begins empty. Each player has 180 pieces or stones at his disposal, each of equal value with the others. The players take turns placing stones at any point on the board, building up positions of strength while working to encircle and capture the opponent's stones. Multiple contests take place simultaneously in different regions of the board. The balance of forces shifts incrementally with each move, as the players implement strategic plans and react to each other's initiatives. At the end of a well-played game, the board is filled by partially interlocking areas of strength. The margin of advantage is often slim, and to the untrained eye, the identity of the winner is not always immediately obvious. Chess, on the other hand, is about total victory. The purpose of the game is checkmate, to put the opposing king into a position where he cannot move without being destroyed. The vast majority of games end in total victory achieved by attrition or, more rarely, a dramatic, skillful maneuver. The only other possible outcome is a draw, meaning the abandonment of the hope for victory by both parties.